when you're afraid of getting rid of something because it's precious, that's the very thing that you need to get rid of, because it's holding you back from expanding beyond where you are. Hey everyone, I'm Marianne Mitchell. Welcome to Whole Artist Mastery, which is about knowing your true artistic voice, making compelling work, and showing up in the world in the way that you want to be an artist. So it is fall, October here in the northeastern part of the United States, and October is an interesting month because, in fact, this is probably true around the world, whether you're in spring or fall. It's a month of transition, moving from one state to the next, from one temperature zone to the next, and you have a time when it's cold and when it's warm. It's a little chilly today, so I'm holding my cup of hot tea here. And it's a month of uncertainty as we move through that transition. Uncertainty and excitement for what's ahead, and a little bit of fear, I guess you might say. And so because it's this kind of a month, we're talking about fear today and the role that fear can play positively in our artistic practice. And what I'd like to do before I get into that is invite you to join Wham Wednesday, which is a monthly discussion, Whole Artist Mastery Wednesday, on October 18th, 2023 at 5 p.m. East Coast time. It's free to everybody who puts their email in the website, gets on the mailing list, and then you get a link for the Zoom meeting on Wednesday morning, October 18th. And it is a time when artists come together to talk about provocative issues, to learn about process, and to share everybody's own experiences. And it's really engaging and provocative. So I hope that you will join next Wednesday, the 18th of October, 2023. I've come to understand that fear keeps us honest. In other words, when we look at what we're afraid of and we're in a quiet space or on a walk or just taking a few moments to settle down with kindness for yourself and ask yourself, why am I afraid of something? It requires us to really go to the core of our truth and find out what it is that we really want and why we're putting barriers in front of us to get there. How does that play out in a painting? Well, I think, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, when you get to a point of feeling like, oh, I love what's happening here, but there's a piece of you that knows that the painting isn't finished for many different reasons. And I'm going to talk about this one in a minute and explain why I think this is still unfinished, and what I'm a little bit afraid of losing in the painting. But that's just the thing, is that when you're afraid of getting rid of something because it's precious, that's the very thing that you need to get rid of, because it's holding you back from expanding beyond where you are. So if you take a moment and look at your piece and think about what would happen inside your body and inside your whole self if you decide to keep it exactly where it is. Do you feel like you're contracting, or do you feel like you're expanding because it allows you to accept that it's okay where it is? If you feel like you're contracting, then you have to listen to that, and it's your honest self inviting you to continue on. And so then the trick is to continue on when you're finally ready to throw the barriers away and just dive right back in. This has happened to me countless times over the many, many years that I've been painting. And I've come to trust that fear of losing something, and I've come to honor it at the same time. In other words, I'm unable to really move forward until I'm ready to move forward. And sometimes I need to experience that fear of losing something as a way to a stepping stone into that place of being ready to let go and expand into the future painting. And so I see this as a dance, actually, between choice and chance. There's a book called Art and Fear, and where the authors talk about how getting rid of fear means choosing over chance. And I understand what they're saying, but I also think that, especially in the 4 phases of making abstract art, and so if you go back to some of my earlier videos, phase 3, integration, is really about this dance between integration of thought and feeling. I know what I want to do, which is choice, without knowing what's going to happen, which is chance. And you know, they work together to create a whole experience in a painting. So I'm going to talk to you about where I am with this painting to illustrate what I'm talking about. I want to show you just briefly what was here before what's here now. There was a rectangular orange shape in the middle, and that was surrounded by a gray-blue, warm gray color scheme with a black mark down here. And I found it very provocative because I'm currently very inspired by, intrigued by this sense of a brilliant color being surrounded by neutrality, having this brilliant color of hope. Orange is a color of hope, at least for me, and having that mystery and smokiness surrounding it, which is often how we all feel in the world because we are unaware of what's really happening, and we need an anchor of hope in our lives. So, but I didn't like the rectangular shape, and so while a whole artist mastery mentorship artist was here working with me in person, I decided to use this painting as an example of going back into Reckless Abandon Part 3. In other words, I'd gone back to Reckless Abandon several times with this painting and still had yet to hook into something that really spoke to me. And so how does that relate to fear and truth? I think that while I was very inspired by the color combinations and the way it was making me feel, I was uncertain and to some degree throwing barriers in front of myself because I was afraid to lose that relationship. And so I knew that at the core of what I wanted for this piece was to maintain this brilliant orange surrounded by the uncertainty of color, or the kind of color which gives a sense of uncertainty. But how to do that was something that I was really sort of checkmated about. And so I mixed up a bunch of color and was able to throw the road barriers away from being able to expand into where it is now. And this all happened really in about 10 minutes. You know, it was very fast. And to my great surprise, a composition showed up that I liked so much better. So that's a great example of how when you actually move through your fear of losing something and let go of what was there in hopes for something new to show up, whatever that might be, it can actually be something that's so much greater. So now I'm at another juncture here where I very much like the composition. I like the color relationships. I like the sliver here now versus this larger rectangle. The black is almost gone, but there's this kind of scar here, which I find intriguing. And those who have seen this, mostly on camera, have said, oh, don't touch it. It's perfect the way it is. It's, you know, and so that produces a different kind of fear, because when you have people telling you, oh, it's great, don't touch it, and there's a little voice inside you saying, I don't know, you know, then I become, and maybe you also, feeling this sense of, oh, I don't want to lose what's here because people like it. But at the same time, it's inviting me to go back to that authentic expression, that place of truth inside me about this particular painting and about where I am with my painting in general, which is that I'm really mining in all of my paintings very complicated surfaces, depth of color, depth of light, all these different colors working together, which if you look at other videos, I've been demonstrating how I do that, so that the end result is a very sort of sublime integration of colors and blending, and so that the overall experience has much more depth than what's actually showing up here. And the other thing is that I love this blue juxtaposed to the orange yellow here, this particular kind of blue. But I also know that it needs to integrate with the rest of what's going on in the shape, which means that I have to ask myself, do I want to make the shape all bluer like this? Or do I want to bring some of this muted blending color of the warm and the cool together over this beautiful blue? Both of those options are kindling me a sense of contraction, I think, you know, because I love this blue and I don't want to let go of it. But I also know that if I bring this blue all the way across, that it is moving away from, at the core, it's moving away from the core of what I want for this painting. And so that's how the fear of losing this blue and knowing what's going to happen if I keep it, and knowing that if I keep it, it's going to keep the whole painting away from this overall sense of muted, misty, unclear color against this shock of bright color. So in fact, what I need to do is lose this. I'm not quite ready to do that yet, though. So in a subsequent video, hopefully I'll be able to show you when I actually do let go of this. And this conversation has helped me determine that much as I love this, this is the piece that has to change in here. And that as beautiful as this is, it's just not complex enough a surface to get that depth of experience of color. So I'm hoping that this little discussion about this painting has helped you understand how uncertainty, needing to hold on, being unsure about where you want to go, are all states of mind that are rooted in fear. And when you're able to make that shift from fear-based thoughts to expansive thinking, well, what do I have to lose? You know, a painting is a journey, and wherever I go will be the next leg of this journey. So it's that choice to take a chance, actually, that I think moves you forward towards the strongest paintings that you can make. So thanks very much for watching. Head on over to the Whole Artist Mastery website to check out online courses that address both the development of your visual language, learning how to let go of the unknown through working with oil pastels, entering the realm of abstraction with oil pastels, and color. A lot of people are afraid of color, how to work with color, how to mix colors. And so there's an online course that's titled Practical Color Applications for Painters, because I think color can be such a complex issue or a complex thing for people to wrap their brain around, and I try really hard to make it simple for you. So check those out. Hope to see you on Wham Wednesday again, talking about fear and unpacking this whole discussion even further. Maybe you'll see where I am on this painting at 5 o'clock, October 18th, 2023, East Coast time. See you there. Thanks so much. See you soon.